should also, and the Prime Minister should also be indicted, because in the case of the Sudanese president, he was culpable, not because he went around killing people, but because he was in charge, he was in control of the apparatus. Obviously, Bush and Blair were in control of the apparatus, which has resulted in the death of 500,000 children due to sanctions and things like that.
Now, a regular theme at the conference this week by speakers was the belief that the ferocity and the harshness of the assault on Gaza has forced a dramatic change in the public opinion vis-à-vis Israel, and in terms of it being a responsible democracy. Do you think we may be witnessing a historic shift, which, for example, when we saw the turn in events in terms of apartheid South Africa?
Well, I think there is some signs of change. People are much more aware, perhaps, but there is this danger that if time passes, people are going to allow this to be forgotten until the next incident. This is our worry. We must keep this incident in Gaza in the forefront all the time and make people aware that this kind of thing should not be allowed to happen again.
Now, you chose to host your conference in London. Why was London so important to you?
Well, London is where everything began. This is where the Balfour Declaration started. And it is that declaration that has created a state of Israel on somebody else's land. And the war between Israel and the Arab is not about religion. It is about territory. If you take my territory, I'll fight to regain my territory. I think the same would apply to the British people. If, as I suggested, if Saray is proposed by the UN, should be the home of Tamil Tigers, because they are being persecuted by the Sri Lankan, I don't think they will take kindly to that.
Now, there was some talk post the assault in the UK, in Parliament here, that Britain may join other European countries in sending naval forces to prevent Hamas from rearming. Now, this caused much disquiet, I can tell you, and many debates took place challenging this, suggesting that this may end up being a stranglehold to even more reinforce the embargo that has brought the Palestinian people to its knees. Some have gone further to suggest that what we should be doing is creating an independent corridor so that humanitarian aid and relief can go directly to the Palestinians without having to go through either Israel or Egypt. What do you think of that proposal?
Well, in the first place, this idea that you should not arm Hamas, and that will prevent more fighting. This is quite ridiculous. It happened with Bosnia before. The Bosnians were not allowed any supply of arms, and as a result, of course, they get massacred by the Serbs. What we should do is either to arm both or to disarm both. You have to be fair to both sides. And as to the blockade of Gaza, it's totally unjustified. If Hamas is accused of firing rockets into Israel, but they wouldn't have any reason to fire rockets if Israel had not applied sanctions and tried to blockade food and medicine from getting into Gaza.
Now, remarkably, we often hear talk about the need to ensure that democracy prevails. 2006, Hamas won with an overwhelming majority. I think we heard at a meeting here earlier today that these were elections which were model elections. They were properly monitored, and they were in many ways an example for the rest of the world. Yet, the whole of the Western community, Europe, Britain and the United States, were complicit in ensuring that that democratic government was not allowed to function. Do you feel that this is something that we should address with some urgency?
I think democracy is the best form of government ever invented by the human race. But it doesn't work always. Sometimes you have people who are very belligerent, as happens in the recent election in Israel. rightists who are bent on killing people, these people can be elected democratically. So democracy by itself doesn't mean anything. But of course, what we are seeing today is the failure on the part of the so-called promoters of democracy to accept the results of democracy. This happens in Algeria, where the Muslim parties won. They refuse to recognize that. And again, in Palestine, they refuse to recognize that Hamas won a fair election. And that is part of the cause of the present problem.
The conference yesterday was well received, with over 300 delegates attending, and the praise has been quite remarkable for the event. Where to next? And have you got a great deal of optimism that this sort of energy is going to be significant in changing the course of history in the Palestinian region?
Well, the interest shown in the conference yesterday was very encouraging, and we think that it has performed beyond our expectations. In a way, it has caused the problem of Gaza to be better understood and to come to the forefront, and people are not going to forget Gaza that easily. So since that is the case, we think we might have to hold this roadshow in some other countries, probably Spain or probably even in Belfast.
Well, I have to say, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, it's been a real honour to have you today as our guest. Welcome again to Islam Channel, and I do wish you all the best of luck in your endeavours going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.